All right. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Casket Ready. I am one of your co-hosts here, Mr. Life. I have Real Estate Raw, and tonight we have a special guest in the building. We have Miss Leticia Campbell with us. So we're gonna have an interesting conversation because tonight's topic is our last wishes. So we're going to talk about, we're not going to waste any time. Welcome, Leticia. It's a pleasure to have you with us on our platform tonight. But we're gonna get right into it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about our last wishes.
Yes.
Well,
Thank you for having me.
before we get it going, Kay, that was a weak introduction. First was Leticia.
You didn't edify
You got
me.
Leticia Campbell. Tell us a little about yourself, what you do. Our host, let him warm up. Get some coffee over there. Get some coffee over there.
No.
I like that about. He just jumps right in. You know what I'm saying? You gotta wait. You know, just get in
We
there.
got time for that. We can have a shout out of business.
Let's
all that
go.
at the end. All right, that's what we're gonna do.
I love it.
Right?
I love it. But for those of you who don't know me, my name is Leticia Campbell. I live here in New York. I'm a mother of 5 children. Yes, I've been a full-time entrepreneur for going on 9 full years. I'm an email marketing strategist, branding coach, thought leader, all the things. And I also do life insurance as well. So thank you guys so much for inviting me.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Rob, go ahead, take it away.
Now you put the spotlight on me.
Yeah.
Definitely. Today's topic: last wishes. So we're just talking about last wishes. A lot of times, we never really talk about what we want if something were to happen to us. Whether we want to leave our kids something, how we want to be buried, all of the good jazz. But tonight we're gonna play a video to start it off because when we say it, nobody listens, so we're gonna let little Dirk say it for a little while. So I'm gonna let you play that video, okay, so everybody can hear it, and then we can dive in right after that.
Off mistakes, and I got people around me that.
Do you guys hear anything?
No, not yet.
Hold on. I'm gonna have to remove it and add it back. Hold on a second. You guys still don't hear anything?
No, nothing.
I don't know what's going on, but little technical difficulties.
Try unsharing and reshare it again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me add it to the stage now.
Right.
Because it's like it's playing.
Do you hit share audio?
I didn't think I had to do that because it was playing earlier. I know we're gonna have to skip it for right now.
Yeah, skip it right now. Okay.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. So I mean, basically in the video, he was just talking about, the fact that he actually got, a policy. He's a big superstar, and at the end of the day, his value has increased. Why? Because of who he is. And you don't have to be a superstar to actually have value. That's one thing I do want to highlight. But a person in his stature and his position, he knows how important it is, from him being in the streets to being this big superstar. He needs to protect his life. And he knows that his family is important to him. So he want to protect the things that matters most. And that's why he got a policy, so that's the biggest takeaway from, that video itself,
No, definitely. I mean, that's the main thing. Trying to get a life insurance policy, it's never fun. Nobody likes to talk about death. Nobody likes to talk about what if something happens to them. So it's just a hard conversation to have. But like Lil Durk said, like he want to leave a whole bunch of M's so people will never forget him. And like we always say, never just leave people memories. Leave the money. You're always gonna remember somebody, but leaving the money, you definitely be remembered forever. They might leave a statue for you. They put a statue up for you.
I mean, even to counteract that, I do believe you should leave people money. But also you got to leave people some type of like education first before the money. Like you got to teach them something. Like you got to, because the money could run out if they don't know what to do with it. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, even for him example, he not going to just leave money without having a foundation of what to do with that money, or have certain businesses for people to run if he's gone, to help, let that money, flourish even more. So it's important for not just to leave the money, but to leave a blueprint of what to do with that money when you're going to. So that's important. What's your
Right.
thoughts,
I
Leticia?
agree. I agree. I want to read just the last few words of the headline where it
Mhm.
says, if anything happens to my family, it's taken care of. We often don't think about that part. You know what I'm saying? We don't think about what taking care of looks like. That could
Mhm.
look like anything. I have 5 kids, and if, God forbid, something happens to me, and even with things in place, you got to have an alternate. You know what I'm saying? All that can be, stipulated. You know what I'm saying? But we don't think of, like, a lot of people, if you actually tell them to sit down and think about, well, what if something happens to you? I mean, we're all young. You know what I'm saying? Anything can happen. Anything can happen. And we don't have those hard conversations. We run away from them, and then we have them way too late. And then it shoulda,
Yeah.
woulda, coulda. You know what I'm saying? And really knowing, like, what are your wishes?
Mhm.
I think that's another question. Like, sitting down with people, like, well, what is your wishes? Like, how do you want things to be set up if you're not here? Even when you get sick, you know what I'm saying? How do you want things to get set up? And then once you do that, are you going to have the conversation with everyone who has something to do with when you get sick or when you pass on? So it's a big old, hard conversation that a lot of times people run from, they avoid, and people think they have a lot of time. I mean, I used to think that when I was in my teens, like, I have all the time in the world, and all of a sudden, fast forward to 42, 5 kids, and I have one going to go to college next year. I'm like, okay, where has the time gone? And I know you
Mhm.
guys can relate as well. So it's like, what are your wishes, first of all? What are your wishes, and or does your wishes align with what do you have currently set up? So I always like to start, especially women, off there, because at the end of the day, whether you're married or not,
Mhm.
okay, you got to still think independently. All right, because anything can happen.
Mhm.
So that's how I feel about it. It's just making sure, I like, the fact that making sure his family is taken care of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Good point. Good point. No, no,
Mhm.
definitely. And I mean, the real question I have for all of y'all on the panel, like, have you had conversations? Who have y'all had conversations with as far as what
I've
people
had
want?
conversations with my 2 older kids. My oldest son is 18, my oldest daughter is 15. And I tell them, like, as far as like the burial stuff, like, I want to get cremated. Like, don't y'all bury me in those, burn me up, okay? And throw me over the Jones Beach, all that. Because I used to go there as a little girl. And, so that's how, as far as I got, you know.
So that's it. Did,
That
did you tell
part.
them how and when and the details of all that, or just that part
No,
right there?
I don't want to overwhelm. I just want to let that sink in. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
saying? But I do agree. I agree with you. Let's continue that conversation, because now they're like, oh
Mhm.
my God, we got to burn mom up.
No, but that's good. You
I
having
don't
that
want to
conversation
end
now. That's good.
Yeah.
Having the conversation with the
it
kids now. That's real.
there.
That's real commendable.
Yes,
You know.
yes,
Mhm. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It is a hard conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to Judy. Yeah, she said this is a hard conversation to start with your family. It needs to be happening as soon as possible, no
Because
matter
I
how
know in
hard it
my
is.
family, like we're my
Mhm.
family is normally from the South. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost probably same as Caribbeans, like, oh, it's like jinxing, like, don't jinx me, don't, like, no, I'm just
Yeah, yeah.
talking, like, that's the first thing that comes up is those things, like, don't you. But when I look at other cultures, because when I used to work for corporate, I worked around a lot of Jewish people, a lot of Caucasian people, and those are the conversations that they always had. Like, that was something that was talked about at the dinner table. Is like, what is the wishes, they're talking about things like, oh, I'm going to get dad's estate, and I'm going to get mommy's, this, that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we don't have those conversations. I always tell people that I want my great great granddaughter to know who I am. You know what I'm saying? Even though she's not born yet. I'm so excited about that, that she remembers me, because I don't know my great great grandmother's name because she didn't leave me anything. So that's a big thing for me. So as I try to set those components up so that way she knows who I am totally, that's just the goal. That's that. If I could say, like, what's the foundations, the core of my wishes is that, so
Yeah.
my
That's
great great
fire.
granddaughter knows who I am.
No, that's good
But
though.
I'm
That's
gonna have
good.
a
I
lot of
mean,
grandbabies, okay?
you say you're gonna have a
I'm
lot
gonna
of
have a lot of
grandbabies?
grandbabies. I just know it.
I believe, the numbers are the numbers. I believe
There you go. I
it.
told my kids
Right?
each of
So
them have five, because
yeah,
five times five. There you go.
that's 25. That's lit right
Hmm.
there. But that's interesting what you say, for you to well, you wanted to know you say you didn't know your great
I didn't know
grandparents,
my
right?
great. I know my great grandmother, but
Mhm.
not my great great
Great.
grandmother.
And
Like that. I don't
most
know
of
her
us
name.
don't. Most of us
Hmm.
don't. As far as the generations, most of us won't even like be alive when they're alive, right? But even if we're not, what do we still know about them, right? So then that's a good, start to a final wish, is that you want to at least let your kids know who you are, what you've done for them, what type of stamp that you left on this earth, right? So that's important. I think that's very important. Um, for me, I don't have any children, but I had this conversation with my mom in regards to what are her last wishes and stuff like that. And how does we had it wasn't detailed, but it was very generalized, similar to like how you had with your children and things like that. But it was more like, as far as pulling plugs, and we didn't go too detailed as far as the funeral and things like that. But at least I know I'm going to be her proxy, when that time does come. So things like that we've touched on, but nothing like super duper concrete of what's going to happen in specific detail. But I think it is important to dive deeper, which I will. It's important to dive deeper on specific instructions on, how she would want to go, because that's very important, because it's going to be your last ride, so you got to go out with a bang, right? So I think it's important for us to have that conversation.
Yeah, no, no. To your point, Kay, I'm a play a conversation I have with my pops about it. So I'm gonna play
Okay.
it here real quick. The point is though is you guys hear it?
Yeah.
These conversations got to be had though. The point is that we just discovered, as much as you were saying X, Y, Z, me and you had just had this conversation. So if you passed away, who would have known all of that information? You know what I mean? That's what my father did. Yeah, that's what he did. But the point is, though, you still have to relay the message, and that's the problem with a lot of families. Nobody talks about this stuff. So I know what your mother would do. I know your mother probably would have. But that's my point. You're making my point. You don't know what my mother wants to do. You're making my point. These conversations always got to be had, though. You know what I mean? Granted, it doesn't matter what she wants to do at this point. There's plans that me and whatever talked about as far as trying to help bury it, and there's plans for you. But the point is though, that's us taking the initiative and getting aggressive. But most people don't have these conversations, including you. I'm already making plans for you that you don't even know about, that you should be having a conversation with everybody else in the family. That's what I like to do. I don't know if anybody would like it, but that's my point. It got to be set in stone. The message got to be put across. You got to let what you want to do, how you want to be buried, what you want to leave, what to who. Like these are real things at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And nobody talks about it till the person's gone.
and it's panic mode, and we don't know nothing. You know what I mean? So that's why I say.
Yeah, man. So it was funny with that conversation. So in that conversation with my pops at the time, he was talking crap about another family member at the time, like, oh yeah, why they didn't do this, and that was his first time ever us talking about what he wants as burying rights. So, because it's true, because nobody really has that conversation, and in that conversation, he let me know that hey, he'd rather be cremated because he don't want to waste a lot of money, doing paying for the full burial. He let me know, okay, he wants to leave certain stuff for my sister. But then I asked him, I said, hey, when did you ever have this conversation with me? He was like, well, I guess now. I was like, but I didn't even initiate, I don't want to initiate the conversation. You was just talking crap. But we never even had the conversation point blank, period. You know what I mean? And so it's important to have these conversations with your family members because you never know. I had no idea that he was okay with being cremated. And he had the benefit of me because I'm a life agent, and off the record, I know his whole information, so everything's set up for him already. I already had everything pre-planned up, pre-planned, preset for him, so he got a pass. But imagine situations where you don't have that information.
Right.
Imagine situations where you don't have these conversations.
Right.
Literally, nobody knows what you want, from something as simple as leave my car to my brother, or leave my baseball collection to this person, or I want to say this, or leave the house to this person, or this person gets this percentage. It's crucial, and nobody's really talking about it till unfortunately the person is dead and they can't say nothing.
It's funny. I got a phone call like literally like 3 hours ago from my pops, and we've been. He told me that his policy is expiring soon, so he wants to get another policy, right? So we set something up to where we could talk on Thursday, but it's just funny that we having this conversation, and then that's part of the conversation I'm gonna have with him of who he wants to leave what to, and we tell him, it's all right if he leaves you a little something extra, but
y'all are mess.
He got a lot of kids, so
I guess
it's
I'm on the
divvying up,
right. I
guess
I'm on the flip side of the spectrum when it comes to women. It's two things I find after speaking to so many different women. Is the first thing is timing, and it's just knowledge, right? When is the right time? You know what I'm saying? And for me, it's more than just what is going to be left. It's really more about, well, do you have everything set up the right way? I know for me, being married and now stepping out of a marriage, I just felt like, okay, my ex-husband had everything set up. It's all good and stuff like that. And like, testament to your father, not knowing what is set up. Like, okay, what is set up? What do you have the phone numbers? What do you have the paperwork and things like that? So I have to say, for women who are, whether you're married and stepping outside of it, stepping away from a marriage, or just in the middle, you don't just leave it up to the spouse. You know what I'm saying? Like, really know what your partner has set up. You know what I'm saying? Educate, ask those questions. And if you're not being given that information, then that's a problem, but still have something set up. Like, I wish, despite, even when my marriage was good, I wish I had something set up way back then. And you know what I mean? It probably been way more money in it now, would have been way more. You know what I'm saying? So I just find that women, especially women, we don't really know when is the right time. You know what I'm saying? Getting when should you have that conversation? It's almost like when you're a senior in high school. My son didn't start thinking about college until he became a senior. He should have started thinking, prepping for it in 10th grade. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you got to get ahead of the game. And this is why I'm telling women now, get ahead of the game. In your 30s and 40s, get ahead of the game. Get way ahead of the game. You know what I'm saying? Don't just sit and wait until you're 50, 60, 70, and you're just like, oh, by the way, let me think about it. You know what I'm saying? So know what your wishes are. Case in point with the Caribbean, the weather that happened, Melissa, whatever her name is.
Melissa.
Yeah. A lot of people passed away that was unexpected. You know what I'm saying? Anything can happen. You know what I mean? We really don't have control of certain things. And we just got to make sure everything is set up. But really sitting down and saying, well, what are my wishes? What are they, really making sure you have it set up? It don't depend on your partner or anyone else to just have everything. Oh, he got it set up. It's all good. We have it already. What do you have?
No.
If you if you have this blank stare, you know what I mean, that's a problem.
Yeah,
That's
You
true.
may not
to
have
your
enough.
point. To your point, though, it's great that you said that, though, Leticia, because at the end of the day, it's the natural mindset where the man takes care of everything, and he
Hmm.
do take care of everything. But the
Hmm.
reason why, like you brought up that point, is what if he didn't take care of everything?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
if he wasn't organized? What
Right.
if when he got the life insurance policy, he never knew what he got? What if he
Hmm.
got it turned 30 years ago and something happens year 32?
Hmm.
He's, oh, I thought I had a policy. Because
Hmm.
that's a lot of situations that happen.
Yep.
And to your
It's
point,
scary.
yeah. And the way the economy is set up, it's like, mama got to leave something too. Like,
Hmm.
you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like,
Mhm.
Hmm.
it ain't the olden days. These days, the way inflation set up, all that type of stuff, mom's got to leave something too. Because guess what happens if mom's died?
Right.
I have a son. If his mother dies, I would hope she has something set up for him.
Hmm.
And she would want that. And a lot of women want that. But to your
Yeah.
point, the conversation's not really had. And it's uncomfortable because nobody want to think about not being there for their kids.
Right.
Nobody want to think
Right.
about that.
Right.
But the truth is that conversation gotta be had. And I mean,
Yeah. And if you don't have it, I'm gonna just say it, you're being selfish.
I
Yeah.
Because
love that.
why would you want I do not want my kids to fight. You know what I mean? I don't want even when they do a little arguing, brother sister rivalry, I still I like cringe, you know what I mean? Because I want them to get along, even though that's not realistic.
Mhm.
But more importantly, I don't want them to fight when I'm not going figuring out what they need to do to settle my business dealings. You know what I'm saying? That's scary to me. You know what I mean? Even right now, I got goosebumps thinking about that because when you set things up, you're alleviating the stress amongst your children, amongst your family. You pass on and it's like, okay, they have everything they need, everything is settled. All they have to do is they have time to grieve, not create more damage with amongst each other. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen that in my family when people didn't have things set up. I remember my aunt died. My cousin was texting everybody to cash up him money for her funeral. And it creates that rivalry because this person didn't get enough and this person wasn't able to give. And it's just so much, you know what I mean? That creates those damaging memories. But like I said, like I know that may hurt some people's feelings, but it is what it is. If you don't have something set up, you're being selfish. Like, come on. Like that's what it boils down to. None of us are here forever. We just got to be an adult and put our adult panties, underwear, whatever y'all use, on and just sit down and talk. Let's
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah, I was about to say I don't put on panties. But
I
yeah.
know, I know that.
Listen, I'd be a little worried if you did.
Don't
But,
judge. Don't judge.
listen. I'm telling, and this is the reason why we have these conversations because I don't want nobody to call me later when it's too late.
Right. And even for
There's nothing
business
I can.
owners, like if you're in a
Yeah.
partnership and me and the business partnerships that I've had, we've had this conversation. Y'all got to get a policy on each other.
Yeah.
You got to
Absolutely.
have that. If something happens to one person, it's just like, you got to make sure the business don't go bankrupt. So that's another setting too. In the business world, you got to have those conversations because anything can happen. Anything can happen. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. And I mean, I guess my question would be is, I guess let me ask you on live, Kate, what's your wishes? I don't know
All
this
right.
man
Here's
for
my last
39 years.
wish.
I don't know nothing.
All right. So first off, it's not even. Well, it is a wish, but before the wish, this is how I want to go out. All right. First off, I am projecting and I'm going to live to see 100 years old. What does that mean?
Amen.
So I'm going to pass away on July 4th, 2086 at 7:52 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right? So that's what I'm going out, right? That's 100 years. That's me keeping it 100 for real, right? So that's what I'm going to be doing. That's first and foremost. Secondly, listen,
Sorry.
I don't want nothing less than 40,000 on my funeral. Nothing less. Nothing less. I want it big. And the repast, first off, my casket gotta be nice. It gotta be a nice blue casket. And I want it to be, at a nice chapel. I want it to be where at the repast it's nothing but vegan food. I don't want
Oh no.
listen, I want my
I'll bring my
listen.
plate.
Listen, I want my repast with vegan food. All right, or else I'm waking up out that
Ain't
casket.
gonna be a long repast. I tell you that right now. People are like, let me go to McDonald's. I'm sorry.
And then lastly, whatever's left over, right? I wanted to go amongst all, the nieces, the nephews, the cousins, and make sure that it gets divvied out the right way. Obviously, it's gonna be in the parents' names, but making sure that all the next generation has something to start off with or continue their life with. You know what I'm saying? So that's my last wishes.
No, I appreciate that. What I will do for you on your last wish is I'll get some salad out. Representation for the vegans. Top notch salad. Caesar salad.
Yeah, organic.
No, but
Put some leaves
crazy.
back. I want more green leaves.
We'll have some salad with the side dishes.
As long as you got an open bar, if you have an open bar, I'm there. I'll just get wasted. I'm not going to eat anything.
And it has to be in Brooklyn too. It has to be in Brooklyn.
Oh, in Brooklyn.
And it has to be, and it has to be in Flatbush too. Somewhere in Flatbush. Oh, yeah. I could listen. I'll take Canarsie. I'll take Canarsie as a strong backup. You know what I'm saying? But we got to be in Flatbush. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, but to your point though, like it's crazy because as crazy as that sound, it's still reasonable because a lot of times we have these funerals and like we'll go out to eat and a lot of times families go out to restaurants or a nice buffet and we all know that feeling where everybody looking around how much you got? You got 100? You got a
yeah. Right.
But to your point, when you got one of the policies in place, you can actually pay for everybody's dinner and everybody going out eating lobster and shrimp, you know what I mean, all day, every day. And that's important. And I mean,
it is.
Last wishes is key, man. Because I mean, if nobody knows, you can't even go out how you want it to be remembered.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I want my last wishes to be like a day of like craziness. Like I want people the next day be like, yo, her funeral was like I want every fantasy, everything to be like paying out at my funeral. I definitely want to be cremated. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to, burn me up, spread me across the ocean and let me be just amongst the universe and the environment and stuff. Definitely, leaving my kids, obviously a lot of money, a lot of property. But one thing I will do is be very meticulous with how I want things divvied out. I had an uncle, God rest his soul, Michael Green. He passed away. When he passed away, obviously he left me some money, but he had stipulations to it. Like when I turned 18, I couldn't touch it. Only if it was an emergency or for college. So he was, obviously the trust got me through college. You know what I'm saying? Because my parents didn't have money, and then I got the rest when I turned a certain age. So I like that aspect because I would have been like 18, you know what I'm saying? Especially how I was back then. So so that would be my wishes. I want like a fun, crazy funeral, man. Just like yes.
Okay, I like it.
That's it.
Like, what about you, Rob?
Everyone's invited.
I mean, for my funeral, first off, I want the world's longest record funeral. You know what I mean?
No.
You know what I mean? What I want is I want about 78 people to go up there and tell them how I went through their life and how they miss me so much.
No.
And I don't care if the funeral run for 5 hours.
Oh my God. That is so narcissistic. Are you kidding me?
A little narcissistic, but listen, it's all right. It's all right. You know what I mean? Like, listen, I want everybody to tell their story. Because remember, it's my last rodeo. Like you said, it's my last rodeo. I ain't going to be here.
You dead, though.
But I ain't going to be here to hear. But listen, I want it. I want the 88 cars blocking off traffic. Like, you know what I mean? All limos. Like, holding, you know what I mean? Like the president getting buried. That's how I want to go out at the end of the day.
but you know what's crazy, though?
Like the Egyptian.
Shout out to
bury me with everything.
Right? Put it gold trimmings on the casket and all of that, right? No, shout out to Patrick with David. He said that this is how like, and the thing is you won't know, but other people will know of how significant your life was. Yes. Is that your associate count at your funeral.
Yes, that's true.
So it based off of how much people actually shows up, it'll let it be known how significant your life was.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? My stepfather, he passed away several years ago. It's been almost 10 years. And his funeral was packed. I mean, packed.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen a funeral so packed before.
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, it let me know, I'm like, this man was loved by many, feared by a lot of people. Just because you can see it, you can feel the energy inside the room, right? But that's how you truly know is that it's who's gonna show up. Because
Yeah.
we can have birthdays, we can have different events that we put on, but that last time though, that person that will get to see you, that's how you know.
Yeah.
You know?
And how well you value your life
Mhm.
is how well you set yourself up. That's how I feel.
No,
Mhm.
sure.
Like if you
Yeah,
really
yeah.
value your life, if you really value the people in your life, whether you have a little bit of people or as much as people as you mentioned of your stepdad, it speaks volumes. It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I find that people like, well, I'm not saying that to nobody. I don't want nobody in my business. I'm like, come on,
Yeah.
Mm.
you
Nah,
know?
we got to get over that. We got to get
Yep.
over that.
Yep.
You live
You know
in
what I
a
mean?
dream, go to do.
But yeah,
Yes.
Auntie Judy, you're lying. In a dream, who's gonna do all that? You ain't invited to my funeral, Auntie Judy. You ain't invited.
You ain't gonna
That's my old line.
You better have an
list
open bar
on
while
live.
everybody's talking.
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
god, nah, but it's important though, and you know, last thing I want to touch on because I know we run out of time. You know that you said, Letitia, which was key, is that people are really selfish. At the end of the day, it's a real thing. Like
Yep.
people are really selfish. If you're not preparing for your death, at the very least, leaving enough money to bury you, at the very least, you're selfish, and we're
Because
all
that's
a
your
little selfish.
responsibility. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're extremely selfish because it's like, damn, they all right, cool, you ain't even no money, but at least we could bury you instead of everybody scrambling. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen in actions or happen in life, don't be lifing, but overall, it's just, especially these days, it's just too much information out there. It's too much technology that you can't get a policy, and I mean even a final expense policy, which is your the not lowest, but the burial coverage at the most. It's like $50-$60 a month at minimum.
At minimum.
No matter what age you at, you can at least get cremated in peace. You know what I
And
mean?
some of those
So,
policies, you can take a loan out against your own policy with the final expense. I mean, it's so much. And I feel like I always say willful ignorance. I've been saying that word a lot lately because it's not the fact that people don't know, because these back in the day, I don't know, I'm 42. I know y'all younger than me, but when everything was encyclopedia. It wasn't no internet. You had to go to the library and get one of those encyclopedias. But now it's so much information. So whatever you don't know, you just have willful ignorance at this point, because you could just type in, what should I get for burial? And there's all this information will come up. You know what I mean? So we got to stop being that willful ignorance. And it also accepting at the same time. Willful ignorance. Yeah.
and real quick, a quick joke, like for you bringing up encyclopedias. Listen, my mom's old school Jamaican. In my room, I had 2 giant shelves of all encyclopedias.
People. Yes.
It made no
Yes.
sense. To your point.
Yes, makes no sense now. It doesn't. And that I feel like every person should get a life insurance license at this point. Even if you're not going to do anything with it, just to educate yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's very important. Like I took my exam 4 times, I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? But each time I learned something new. And thank God for K helped me and everything. But you gotta educate yourself. I told my kids they're getting a life insurance license. They can still do their career that they want to do, but at least they have that, so they educate themselves.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Kato, but I don't know, kid. It took me 6 tries to pass my life.
6?
Now
I
you said
think it took me about 6 too. I was just being nice.
Took about 4 or 6. I
Yeah,
don't know.
it took about 4 to 6. I think at one point it just at one point you just phased it out.
The point is we all passed. We're all life insurance brokers. We can help millions of families. That's the important part, right?
Yeah.
With that being said, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up. Let's before we get out of here, Leticia, let everybody know where they can find you at.
Oh my God! On the corner. Let me start.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so you can find me on my page, Letitia Campbell. I'm at the real Letitia Campbell on Instagram. Okay. I'm on Twitch, X, all those platforms. You guys can reach me and just follow me, and you see all the fun and foolery I have to share.
No, we have a good time here. Good
Mhm.
time. And then, you know, of course, if you know, you would find us Legacy Builders agents. See that we're scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Go ahead and go to the website, get a quote, give us a call, DM us. You know, and you want to reach out to the teacher, reach out to her too. You know, let's definitely get these policies going. You know, you got
Let's
3
do
people on the
it.
panels that can help you, and whoever you're comfortable with. So, ladies, reach out to Leticia. You know,
Yes.
fellas,
last-
And
reach out to
men.
us.
Lastly, before we get out of here, if you're in Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx, Harlem, listen, we having our
Long
Thanksgiving
Island.
potluck. Yeah, Long Island too, right? Don't forget about Long Island. We having our Thanksgiving potluck December 22nd at
Yes.
5 p.m. Come out, have a good time with us. Music, food, drinks, and you know,
Lots of
definitely we're
drinks.
gonna, you know, lots of drinks, right? So we're gonna have a good
You
time,
won't be dehydrated leaving.
but definitely check us out, you know. And yeah, we're gonna have a good time. But if nothing else, we're gonna get up out of here. And once again, here at Legacy Builders, we build together to grow forever. And you know, everybody have a good night and enjoy the rest of your Monday. All
I
right.
like that.